Hello and welcome to Reviews. As you can see, I'm not in my usual location today because, as I mentioned last night, I am working a double. So I've actually come into uh, the lab here. I'm surrounded by all kinds of equipment. You may hear humming from the various servers and switches. Um, I'm not going to go into everything that's around me. I'm not going to pan around the room because there's a bunch of stuff I really can't show off here. But anyway, it's been a huge week. We got Fantastic Four, we got Uncanny X-Men, we got Heroes in Crisis. I did Hex Wives last night. What else? There's been a few other things. I can't think of off the top of my head, but this one, I've been looking forward to this. Ever since I saw this cover as an ad in a previous book, it just stopped me in my tracks. I'm going, what? And if you recall this, Eve Ewing, she was the one that someone started a petition because she's, I guess, a poet. She's an associate professor out in Chicago, and someone said, "Hey, she's from Chicago. She's a black woman who looks like Riri. She should write the book." And they started this petition. I don't think it went anywhere, but then Marvel hired her, even though she has no comic experience. It used to be if you were someone starting off, you would, get your knees, scratched up. You would do some one-shots. You would do some fill-in issues. Start out, maybe at a independent or, doing the jobs no one else wants to. Hey, this creative team is behind on the Avengers. We need a fill-in issue. And you would get stuck with jobs like that. But nope. Nope, that's what Marvel does. We just hire someone, I shouldn't say we, I don't want to be part of that. They just hire someone who has never worked on a comic before, and just gives them brand new number one. Yeah, just brand new issue, brand new series, no experience. That's what they do. So, just because she looks like the character. So, how do I get that Puma series from Marvel? I've got some good ideas. I think I could write this. Oh, so how does it turn out? What is her first issue like? We'll get to that in a moment. I'm going to try and be as quick with this as possible because this cover is so bad. There used to be a time, you may not know this, but Marvel had artists right in the building, and they did corrections. If a creative team, the artist turned in the art after it came back from inks, and they would see something funky on it, especially like covers, they would have the in-house artist that would do the corrections. And, before it went to the printer. I don't think they do that anymore because I see what they're trying to do, up perspective, but she is so messed up here. As someone who draws a little bit, this bugs the heck out of me, especially if you look at her little jet things. So you have the perspective here. Her legs are really far apart. Even if you look at it from this angle, given the perspective, her legs are really far apart. The way perspective works. And then if you look at her jet trails, okay, her little boot things are parallel. Whoa, then they get really far apart. Now remember, this is behind her, probably several feet, and which means she had her legs parallel. Then she spread her legs really far, and now she's bringing them back together. Yeah, it's bad. And you know what? A correction artist could even just take these out. It would look fine. Just give her like some type of jet thing from there, like Cannonball. Or slide this one over a little bit. Slide this one back so the legs are more together. And it would keep the angle, keep that. When this went out as an ad, I figured they would correct the cover, and they didn't. I kind of want to do a little experiment here, but I don't want to spend a lot of time. I'm going to try something I've never done before. I want to try and draw what this would look like from the side. And it's just going to be a quick sketch, 20 seconds. So what I'm going to do here is, let me grab a pencil and paper. And so let's see here. Do I even have my flash on? Yeah, I do. I can't quite tell in here. It's brighter than I normally do. So let's look at this. Let's look at her chest. If you look really closely, you can see the line. She's not really a very busty girl, so this isn't really coming out. So we got this. You look really closely, you see like her abs here, lower abdomen. So from the side, this would kind of look like, I've never done this before, kind of looking over the phone here. So let's see here. Now remember, we got the person the view is kind of looking up from down here. So, so let's see. It would go something like this. We'd do a little bit torso for the body. She's got this super long neck. So let's put the little shoulder kind of, and like I said, this is just a very rough thing, not like a real sketch or anything. Put the neck, remember, she's got that very elongated neck that goes up to here. And then we have the head. And you got the cranial thing. The eyes would go like this. And it's kind of like this because of the armor thing. And we got the shoulder bit here where her arms are kind of slightly back. So it'd probably be like, with forced perspective, something like this. And then to here, hand spread. Again, this is not a real doodle here, but we got the things here. But she's got her butt real high up in the air, so it probably did the chest a little bit too big, even for this bad perspective. So, and then her rear. Let's just do this. Have that go through. And then her legs. Let's do this. Might make this a little bit easier. Come down to here. And I got that part. And kind of come out a little bit closer to, what would be this way the camera. And then her little feet here. And then you see the other one kind of come out here to kind of get a little bit smaller, kind of gives the idea of how far apart her legs are. But anyway, this is what I mean. When you look at it from the perspective, give her a little bit more of a booty. Let's give her a little. Anyway, this is just a quick little doodle here. Like I said, I just want to do a couple things. Not something I would go, doing this through the phone is hard. But you see, we got the elongated, the arms, and I might even have them a little bit far back. This is not normal. I mean, the wind resistance alone, everything coming from here, she's out of control. This is just... Anyway, I just had to... This cover is bad. I really hate it. So, how was the book? Well, let's pop into it. Ooh, look at that. I love Amanda Conner. I love her art. And if Amanda Conner was drawing the interiors of a Captain Marvel book, not just doing the cover, I mean, that's a day one purchase. And you know what? Even with her kind of cartoony style, she does not look like Power Girl. She could easily just be Power Girl, under a less talented artist. She could easily be a Power Girl in just a full blue suit. But no, I can just look at it. I love Amanda Conner. Distracted. Anyway, it's been a long day. So we cut into start off with Ironheart, basically talking about her life, how so much has changed quickly. How did I go from being a no-name black girl messing around alone in my garage in Chicago to being a superhero? Yeah, I get it. Every superhero has their golly gee, mild-mannered, humble origin story, blah, blah, blah. I'll give a little back story on this. And, I started off reading, which one was she in? Invincible Iron Man. And I read it for a while. I finally had to drop it because this character was so unlikable under Bendis. I know, am I really saying anything that people don't already know? No, I'm not. But you read this issue, it kind of gives a great summary of the character, and she's a bit different in this book. She has some doubt. So she goes to MIT. She walks into her lab, finds that the dean has a bunch of people from the UN, basically, a bunch of world leaders, and they want a sneak peek of the lab of her lab. And what I like about this is I find that they're showing that Riri is not good with people. She's not the sociopath that she's been shown as previously. I haven't been reading too much of how she is in Champions because what I've read of Champions, that book is a dumpster fire, but um, it, she's not good with people. It's really, really, really neat. Um, Sorry, everyone, I don't speak a second language. Is there a translator or something? Do not wait for the translation. Yes or no? If you get that reference, you're awesome. Or a nerd. Either, I would even take either reference because it could be two things. But anyway, they have uh, little translators. You don't really notice it at first. It's on their necks. This comes up in the story. It's important. So she's being asked to show these luminaries around her lab, and she's explaining how this visor can see all the microbes, and it's really freaking people out. She talks about how this piece of armor can withstand infinite pressure to keep your lungs from exploding. She's going into detail. She's not good with people, and she's squeaking them all out. And it's awesome. It's really kind of funny. So then we get Riri shows them this arm cannon, but it's also a 3D printer, and it glows in the dark. And everyone's impressed by that. So, as she's talking to various people, kind of giving more origin story, you see they're passing this thing around in the back. I think it might be that arm cannon. It just looks like they're throwing it around and everything. And then suddenly on the table, something happens. Well, gee, could it be all the stuff being tossed around, all her crap? This is actually important to the story. So, this thing goes off. The dean gets all mad. Well, you didn't give her a heads up you were coming, so this is partially your fault. And so she cuts back to her friends. She's looking at the arm cannon. Her friends are trying to get her to come out to lunch, but she says she's already eaten dinner. And they tried. I worry about her. It's not so good to be so alone. And then these world leaders are going to Harvard and for some type of meeting when a big wall of sound locks them in the building. It locks everyone out. And so Riri hears about it. She dons her armor. I like the art in this book. Yeah, I've seen some of the pictures of this armor done by other artists, but it actually looks good. I wouldn't mind if Marvel Legends made a figure of this. I think I'd buy it. So she goes out to investigate, and this guy here, what's his name? Crash? I guess he was the villain from the Peter Parker Industries when Amazing Spider-Man, when Superior Spider-Man ended, and it went to Parker Industries. He was in Japan, glowing spider on the chest. I read that a couple issues and I dropped it. I don't like Peter as Tony Stark light, but apparently he's from that run. And I don't really know him, but I looked at this and thought he was Boomerang and Havoc's love child. It's a neat costume. It's striking. It's simple. I like that. You don't have to make things overly complex. And it's striking. It's cool. Yeah, it's cool. It's perfectly serviceable. So, Riri figures out that he's using sound, and basically sound waves more or less solidifying the air. Blah, blah, blah. She could, come up with the cosine to figure out how to get through. She gets through. Trying to catch up now here real quickly. So he's got these world leaders hostage, and apparently he's working for the, the 10 Rings? Are they in the comics? I remember them being like the terrorist group that stood in for Iron Man, for the Mandarin in Iron Man. Did they make the jump into the comics? Somehow, if they did, I missed it. And so Ironheart makes her way in, and he insults her, calling her, I used to fight Spider-Man. I deserve better than Barbie Dreamhouse Iron Man. Okay, that's funny. So she's going through, figuring out how to get through all this. She's looking for a safe room. And I do have a problem with this part. So we have this guy closest to the door. As she's coming in, it looks like he's right next to, what's the guy's name? Clash? It starts with a C. It's a short word. It'll come to me in a minute. And And then she suddenly grabs him. She suddenly has him next to her. I, I don't understand how she made this jump without the bad guy doing anything. And then she just, where did she fly out from? Because we just saw her, kind of coming into a door. Oh, maybe I'll just go through that door, blah, blah, blah. And so she goes down, she found the specs for the safe room. She leads this guy into it. So apparently she's going to save these leaders one at a time. Kind of a dumb plan. Until he comes down with all the world leaders, because he's controlling them through their neck, that neck translator thing. And so she's trying to figure out how to defeat him. She tells everyone, she figures out how to communicate into their translators wirelessly. Tells them all, be prepared, hold your breath until I give the signal, then run. She does that, gets them out of the room, away from the bad guy. Going through again here really quickly. To create the shield, he's using the local power grid. So Riri shorts out the power grid, which drops the force field, but leads to a really weird exchange. She says, engage night vision. The darkness won't stop me, stupid. Well, yeah, because she has all the glowing stuff in the dark. Of course he's going to be able to see her. Once his eyes adjust a little bit, and even still, he should be able to see her. But she switches to echolocation. Oh, he's using echolocation. He shouldn't even need to, because she's glowing. And she captures him, and, saves the day. And it turns out that he is telling her that how much they have in common. And then slips her this disc for the 10 rings. And she goes back to the lab thinking about how much alike they are, and that, not appreciated. Yeah, it's kind of good. The rest of the book is kind of her talking to one of her old friends. And I'm not really going to go into it. I think I want to stop here. Find out she cosplays. Again, turns into the whole black thing. She has a Geordie LaForge visor from The Next Generation because she cosplays. Her childhood friend, starts talking about Cisco from Deep Space Nine. I watched The Next Generation when it first came out, and I'll be honest, Geordie LaForge was my favorite character too, because I'm a geek. I like engineers. So anyways, this goes through, and there's a few little surprises. I think there's something else I wanted to talk about in here. She makes a connection about how much she needs people, blah, blah, blah. Why does she become Ironheart? But yeah, I'm going to stop it right there. I have to admit, I like this book. I liked it. You see, we're seeing Riri as, she was shown as kind of like almost a stuck-up, self-serving psychopath. Here, she's a geek. She doesn't connect well with people. She comes off like she has Asperger's, to be honest. And yeah, I really like this book. I like this characterization of her. She's not perfect. Okay, there is a little bit. She knows she's super smart, but she still has doubts. As we see in the beginning, she thinks she doesn't deserve to be up here. The villain, what was his name? Clash? Whatever it was, who works for Parker Industries, sees the bond between them. They're not appreciated. She doesn't have that connection with people. As long as they don't make her Sheldon from Big Bang Theory, God, I hate that effing show. She seemed real in this. I mean, you hear that uptick in my voice? I'm surprised. This book is good. I bought this wanting to tear into it. Yeah, she's a little bit, she handles them pretty quickly. It's one of the things I say in a lot of these books that Marvel puts out. There's no real I don't want to say drama, but no real challenge. Um, this one, her challenges are more personal. Um, but yeah, she's an interesting character now. Um, and there was something else I wanted to mention about her. Oh, in science. Remember Wasp? You science guys using your science guns? Uh, No, this is how you do that. This is how you do STEM. Yeah, a little bit of techno babble, as someone, like watching an episode of Star Trek when they would start talking about how they have to reverse the phaser and do something to the dish array, whatever, and some techno babble. But this, it works. She does it sound like, hey guys, look at us. We're sciencing. Let's all science harder. We'll science the bad guys back to science jail. No, this was good. I I if this Eve can keep this going, if this isn't a fluke, if there's not like, is there a ghostwriter with this? Anything? Anyone else get writing or plotting credit? No, we got layouts. No, it looks like she might be the solo writer. Try and see if there's anything on here. Yeah, no, I don't know if there's a ghostwriter on this book, but this was good. I really like this book. Oh, and I still did it 20 minutes. I didn't want to do a 20-minute video, but what did I say? I did a 20-minute video. Anyway, thanks for watching. Oh, I don't have the figure with me here to show you, but I still have the Magik Marvel Legends Walgreens exclusive giveaway going on. This is the second figure. I shipped out Tekken Arts. He won last week. I shipped his out yesterday. Excuse me, I just had a little bit of phlegm come up there. It's been a long day. I've been working since early this morning, and it's going on midnight. So yeah, open to the U.S., Canada, and the U.K. Just leave a comment. Make sure you're subscribed and leave a comment. What was the question? Oh yeah, what is your favorite X-Men crossover? Any of the mutant titles in Marvel? And I said the Mutant Massacre. I kind of also really liked Inferno because that got really dark in some places, and you don't see that kind of stuff these days. But yeah, I still have to go with Mutant Massacre, the one that kind of started it all. But anyway, Ironheart, it's good. It's good. I'm giving it a noon. 12:05. Okay, 12:05. The art was good. She was not a psychopath. Yeah, it had some silly parts, but I like this book. I take back what I said. What I said before about doubting this book, I take it back. It's good. So anyway, I will see you. I'm going to try and do one tomorrow. I don't know what book I'm going to do yet. I've got Spider-Gwen, Uncanny X-Men. I have a feeling those two are going to be bad. I was expecting this to be bad. It's good. Okay, don't look at the cover. Let's look at the interior art. That's awesome. That looks really good. And it's just flying through the air. The outfit looks good. I should go back to work, shouldn't I? Anyway, thanks for watching. I will see you tomorrow.